Alright, what is going on, everyone? So this video is going to be a little bit more casual than typically I do on the channel. Basically what I'll be talking about is just some recent stuff that's been going on in game, mostly focused around the newly announced price increases in old school RuneScape membership, and I'll just kind of be talking about my thoughts overall on what's going on in the game, and a lot of stuff along those lines, with a little tip as well as to how you can make a little bit of money going forward. So let's get started. I'll go on over to the RuneScape site and kind of see what's going on. And so here we are over on the RuneScape site. So what we have here is the prices that they are currently going to be marked up to. Now I'll personally be looking at US dollars since that's important to me as I pay with that. The monthly subscription is going up to $11. The 12-month subscription is going up to $100. Now what were the prices before, you may ask? Well, luckily we have them right here. So the US dollars 1 month, this is back in the 1st of March 2015, so pretty long time ago. So the price then was $9.40, so $1.50 less, and then for a 12-month it was $10 less. So if you're getting a yearly subscription, only $10, which isn't a ton. If you get a yearly subscription full of month-long subscriptions, basically that's going to be another $17.50. So a little bit more noticeable with the 1 month, but of course that's going to be the case. Now, in response to this, obviously people were going to have questions, and they had a frequently asked questions post that they made on the forum. So basically there's only two that we need to really talk about. The first being, why are they increasing the price? They say that they're continuing to invest in RuneScape, and the price is assuming that they'll continue to invest, and obviously the game will continue to thrive is the hope. In addition to that, economic factors such as Brexit and fluctuations in values of currency are also taken into account. I don't know how so. We'll talk about that here in a second. The one saving grace for many of you, if you have membership now or even have membership before the deadline of June 4th, is that as long as you don't go 2 weeks without membership anytime after June 4th, you'll actually be locked into the regular prices that you still have. So nice for you, but at the same time, noobs or anyone new to the game will also have to pay more. Now, more than likely, even if you're a long-standing individual in the game like I am, you're going to make other accounts. My hardcore Iron Man doesn't have a constant subscription to the account since I don't play it a ton, but this is obviously gonna lessen my ability to go to it whenever I want to. So stuff like that, if you make other accounts, it might affect you as well, but for your main accounts that you have membership on all the time, it won't really affect you. Now, as far as other things they talk about, I'll scroll through them real quick here if you want any of these questions answered for yourself, but really there's not a whole lot there. Most of it is stuff you could assume pretty easily. Now, as far as how I feel about this, obviously this is going to be, it's something I understand where they're coming from. I hate hating on Jagex because it's so easy to do, and I feel like everyone likes to take a gut punch at him now and then, but sometimes I like to stand up for him. As far as the increase of the membership, how do I feel about it? Well, personally, obviously, as a member of the game and a consumer in this economy, I'm gonna say I don't like it because I don't like paying more for my monthly subscription, but I can understand why. They have people coming on as staff, they got more and more people, they need to pay those people, and I get that. It's a business, and that's also what I hate. So I'll talk about that. I get that it's a business, and thus they have to pay people, so they have to pay, they have to up monthly subscriptions if they're getting more people on the staff. Old school RuneScape's been getting a constantly bigger staff, so obviously this is going to be a problem at one point or another. So let's go ahead and look at the updates. Now, I guess I'll start this by saying, personally, I don't like a lot of updates in the game. Personally, I'd like a smaller staff for Jagex because old school RuneScape is something I find enjoyable as is now, and I think the more and more content you push in, the more flooded it gets. I think part of RuneScape that makes it really enjoyable is being able to understand all of the aspects of it, and once you get way too much content in the game, you just can't possibly understand how everything works, and thus it just kind of becomes a blur. Personally, that's what I believe, but obviously everyone has their own inputs on that. If we look back at the past few months, April, we don't have a lot of big game-changing content coming in. March, we don't have a lot either, just a lot of Dead Man mode stuff. And you gotta understand that too. They do have Dead Man mode that they have to focus on now, and they have different game modes, obviously, where they have to focus on those as well. Here, just a lot of rework stuff, nothing really all too useful. And then finally, we have, I guess, at the beginning of the year, so a little over 3 months ago, we have Dragon Slayer 2. Now, Dragon Slayer 2, obviously, really the only big piece of content coming in here, so it's like, with mobile being pushed back as far as it was, I'd really like to have seen mobile come out before this. Personally, that's one of my biggest pet peeves with this is, if I could obviously see a ton of game-changing, content coming into the game, then I'd be like, alright, it makes sense to have the uptick. Along with that, Personally, I wouldn't like to see a lot of new game-changing content coming in, but that's just my opinion. At the same time, if I saw the game-changing content coming in, or, you know, at least a lot of updates, I'd be like, all right, I understand. But most of the stuff that we get, you know, updated into the game is just small tweaks. So really, I'm just disappointed at the amount of content coming in for there to be an increase. Now, along with that as well, one thing that I hate it is that RuneScape Mobile has been pushed off for so long. You know, winter 2017, good old meme coming in. You know, it's April 10th. We're waiting. And what I think is more than likely they place this membership price change around the same time as mobile, or when they plan on releasing mobile. But I just think that it's just the wrong time. I mean, mobile was when I was thinking, all right, this is going to be when the most new players are going to play. They might get membership. I mean, to think, like, it's a hard sell for someone that hasn't played this game before. If they get it on mobile for the first time, paying $10 a month for membership worlds on a mobile like game, it seems really out there and really far-fetched. I don't know a lot of people that would willingly pay $10 a month for a new mobile game they found, but obviously RuneScape's different. Basically, what I'm disappointed in is I thought that old school mobile was going to be a good way to get a lot of noobs into the game, and then throwing price hikes right around the same time is discouraging for noobs to get membership, and on top of that, it just looks scummy. Obviously, they're gonna have to charge more if they have a mobile app associated with the game. Like, as far I could understand a $1.50 price hike solely for RuneScape Mobile alone, but it would have been nice had they kept it, you know, a couple months after, once the people on mobile had decided whether or not they wanted membership and had bought it. At that point, you pretty much have them locked in, so why not keep doing it? I don't like the timing of it. Personally, would have been fine with it a few months after in this scenario, because I think it gives the noobs on mobile time to acclimate with whatever they want to do. I just think it looks bad, but that's just me personally. All right, so here I am over at the graph as far as US dollars to pounds goes. So this is looking over the last 5 years. This is important so we get a view as to where prices were back when they originally hiked it and where they are now. So if we look at 2015, basically what this rate means up here on screen, you can see the 0.65. That means for every... Sorry, there you go. So the rate that keeps changing there, basically that is the amount of pounds that you get for every $1 you spent. So back in 2015, around March or so, there we go, it's close to 0.67. This means at that time, a $9.50 membership actually was worth 6.4 pounds a month. The current membership prices, if it goes up to 11, is only worth 7.8 pounds per month. So it's gone up 1.4 pounds over the last 3 years, which isn't too bad. Now, the one thing you have to understand is as these rates go up, basically for every 5 pounds you spent here, Jagex would get close to 3.3 pounds. For every $5 you spent here, Jagex would get closer to 4.1 pounds. So as the graph goes up, Jagex gets more money. As the graph goes down, they get less money. Basically, considering most of their memberships probably come from outside currencies, and if we look at the euro as well, it has kind of the same thing where it dipped in 2015-ish. Here is closer to 2014, but all in all, still continued to go up for the euro. So that covers probably the primary two methods in which they get paid. If we look here, basically from the time of 2015 all the way to close to 2017, the exchange rate continued to go up. What this means is Jagex was making more on that $9.50 they were charging than they initially had planned. Now, obviously, they never lowered the price, so they weren't going to help us. Instead, they kept the price the same. Now that the price is going back down, they're going to up it, which I guess does make sense, because if you do the math on it, an $11 a month subscription around these rates is pretty close to a $9.50 membership at these rates. So all in all, they won't be getting really any more money off of my subscription, so I do understand a little bit as to how it goes. But you do have to understand is whenever the graph goes down, more than likely Jagex is going to do something about membership prices because they want to recoup their money. However, when they go up like this, they won't say a word about it, and none of us will ever think a second about it, and thus they'll be getting more money without us really even caring. All in all, is this something that I can really be upset about? No. The membership stuff it's very minimal. As far as the price increase with mobile coming out and exchange rates going down, I understand where it comes from, and I'm not too upset by it, but you just got to know where it's all stemming from and really why this stuff is happening. So I said earlier that I would talk about a money-making method that you could go ahead and do. Now this is going to be more so a merge. Obviously, it's not creative, it's just bonds. If you think about it, bonds have actually shot up a lot since this was announced. So 3.3 mil to close to 4. I guess we just do some math real quick. The new prices are $11. The old price was $9. 9.5. So basically, this is how much the price of stuff increased on the site. Now, if we take this number and times it by 3.39, which is the current price of a bond, that means that, yeah, the new price of a bond with these rates should be close to about 3.9 mil compared to where the currently is. So while the prices currently are trading for 4 mil, the thing you have to understand is you can still buy these for the cheap price now. So people will continue to do it, and thus the price will go back down. So many of these come into the game that there's no way people will be stocking up on them for the next 2 months continuously. So if you ever see prices close to where they are now, or even, you know, lower than 3.5, 3.6 mil, you can make some good money off of just having them and then selling them once the new prices end up coming out and end up making the price of bonds go up. So that's something to take a look at. Obviously, if you ever see them start to go down a little bit and you see them start to fluctuate, try to get in on it and you might be able to make yourself a little bit of money. And in addition to that, you do have a set end date as far as to when you can sell them, which is June 4th. So it makes it really nice as far as a merch because you know what you're getting yourself into. So that is going to be it for me today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, make sure to leave a like. If there's anything you guys want to tell me, comment that down below. And on top of that, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe to the channel. But with that said,